Hello, Warriors. Let's have a good week. Who's up for having a good week? Full week of trading, not broken up until Christmas and then New Year's. So, who enjoyed the lunar eclipse last night? Hi, Alexandra, Brock, Ren, Kevin, Simon. Hi, Jeff. You guys enjoy it? It was like at 1:42 in the morning, I believe. So I don't know who was up for it. I wasn't, but this was a lunar eclipse short I took last night at 51, took 30 out of it. I'm going to work this and consider this is going to last more than a half an hour, this decline, and sold this pop about 61.8 back from here. So trying some downside, risking some profits from last night. Regarding the dollar, I just want to show you guys this weekly chart here. So let me get you guys out of the way so you could see the whole chart. Good morning, Monica. So these fibs are measured from the low in 2018 of 88.36, and we got pretty close to the 78.6 level here, right? I think the low, what was the low? 55, missed it by 10 points, but I'd be careful about getting too bared up right now in the dollar, thinking it's just going to go to 88 and take out 88 here. There still could be a little surprise. Look at the RSI on the weekly. Okay, so look at it on the daily. So we finally took out this low of 91.74 by about what, 10 points. And look at the difference between the RSI in August when we were putting in this bottom and where we are right now at 32. So when you just compare these two, I know they're pretty spread out, but we're not getting a confirming low with a new low for the move. Everyone with me on that? Hello, Hugo. Did you miss me? I've been here all along. All right, so Euro pound wore me out before it broke out, but check it out. So we had the breakout last week, and so far we've just come back to test this, and this is going to measure, I think, to about 91 and a half, 92 if we get through 90. All right. I don't think we should close back under, say, 89.40 now. Should hold this wedge breakout. This is what it looks like a little longer term. And the high of the wedge is all the way up at, where is this? 91, 90.09, that's not it. 91.47, so, near that 92 level. So it's really just beginning. You probably feel like you're late. And I remember when Blake was showing this at holding major support, to me, it looked like a descending triangle that we would get a breakdown on, right? Flat bottom, descending line. But you know what? Price is king, and we have a breakout, and it's been wearing me out, but I think we're finally on the way here. So I'm kind of waiting to see if the pound can take out the buy stops, which it didn't do up here, and now it's looking like it's not going to. Pound looks heavy to me. And if EG is good, guys, what's your preferred long? If that chart I showed you in the breakout of the wedge, say you're bearish a dollar, what should you be buying? Euro or a cable? That's right. No, yeah, euro. All right. And if you think the dollar is going to rally, what's your preferred short? That's right. So a lot of people in here have, learned a few basics from me. Glad. Good, Sensi. Something else I'm looking at, because I think yields are still going to head up, and I showed it last week. So the dollar's making new lows, right? The yen is putting in its second higher low. I like it. You could probably buy this thing and risk 50, because here's the look at yields are up a little bit, not much, but at least a bit. And I don't know, I can't find anything that bearish about this chart yet, unless we start trading back under 75 bips. Okay. So, yen and this. And I noticed Stelios is almost at his level for where he wants to start buying silver.
I got some this morning. Thank you.
Okay, man.
Good morning.
Right.
I'll
Good
tell you all
morning.
about it in a bit.
All right. Well, anyway, look, Stel, we're starting to get like maybe a little 3 driver down here and that. And gold too is beginning to not confirm on the 2-hour 15-minute as well. I'd like to see one more low in gold. This looks like a 1. This looks like a 2. And maybe we get just one more, maybe look for a turnaround Tuesday for at least a bear market rally anyway. So that's the way the metals look to me. But I'm pretty much laser focused on this, the S&Ps, because I still believe that, I'm not talking about the end of the world, but I still think that there's potential for this to be a top. Right now we're holding the 61.8 level in the S&Ps. That's what we held last night, but we start getting back under 36.13 or so. There could be some acceleration to the upside. To me, last night's high, lower high than here, and lower high than the Pfizer high. So the S&Ps, with all the hoopla, haven't made new highs since the vaccination news from Pfizer. Okay. Gregorius likes it. Okay. All right. It's going to rally high. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. And let's see, anything else I really want to touch on? I'd still be careful about shorting oil, and oil still looks good. And this is not a conspiracy rap here, but this is just, I've been talking about, I think there's geo risk, and they're starting to price in some geo premium here. So, I have some bets with people before a lot of things happen that, President Trump may want to hit Iran on his way out, if he's even going to go. And then the New York Times had that article. And then Pompeo went over to Israel to see Netanyahu. And then he went to see Putin. And then there was the assassination of the nuclear scientist. I think it was Friday. And when you think about it, Netanyahu actually named this nuclear physicist 2 years ago during a UN presentation that, was kind of another reason why President Trump pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal. And when you think about it, the Israelis consider Iran an existential threat to them. And you could understand why, when they've made many threats about wanting to wipe Israel off the map. So if you were Netanyahu right now, and you saw the possibility of a change in leadership, transition to President Biden, who may want to get back into a deal like this could be Israel's last window to have American support for military action against Iran. So it's not gloom or doom. I'm just putting together the pieces and what I'm seeing. And if you were Netanyahu and you knew Joe Biden was coming in, and you considered Iran an existential threat, maybe the window for handling it is over without the U.S. objecting to that type of action. And with that, I rest my case. Don't short crude. Make sense, you guys? Okay, Israelis grab you, all kinds of things. It's all planned. Anyway, that's what I see here. Okay. And I'm just professional guesser, but I you could kind of see things when you've been doing this for a while. We all have to look under the surface for what's going on. So Blake, how are you, my friend? You had beautiful weather over the weekend. I know that when I lived in Phoenix, I couldn't wait for November, December. Hope you had a good one, partner.
Yeah, it's great. We had a good holiday weekend. How about you?
Yeah, I saw that one of you toasting. You look like you're. I saw that photo.
Yeah, I was. Just family.
Yeah.
We have our little bubble, just like
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people do, and it was a really nice holiday.
Yeah, I didn't have to eat my Hungry Man turkey dinner on Thanksgiving because actually, a neighbor. Listen to this. And my neighbor, we have opposite political views, but she still brought over a nice Thanksgiving dinner for me in some Tupperware. So
really
there's
nice.
hope. There's hope for America.
There we go. There is. So let me ask you this. So I was just tuned in, basically hearing about your comments about not shorting crude, which was the takeaway that I had during the week ahead video is with this Iranian situation heating up. That seems like probably the last thing you want to do right now, right?
Yes, that I've been saying that for a couple of weeks, and even technically, it doesn't look like a top to me. It looks corrective, but yeah, you don't want to make that one mistake that could put a big dent in your account, like gap higher opening if there's any kind of action. And I think there's going to be the reason I think there's going to be now, besides it being a distraction for President Trump, and maybe the country will rally behind him. He's already got half the country. Yeah. But this is going to be Israel's, I think, last chance to take the window will close when Biden assumes office. So if they're ever going to do anything, I think it's over the next, 50 days before Biden is inaugurated. Okay. Yeah.
Got it. So that makes sense. And do you think that Israel was responsible for this the killing of this? You do.
Yeah.
All right.
Or one of their agents, or look, Iran, the Ayatollah has several times has said that they want to wipe Israel off the map. So Israelis and Netanyahu forever has considered them an existential threat.
Got it. It's really a complicated situation.
The Middle East has been complicated. I don't know, Blake, for what, about 3,000 years?
Right.
Yeah. It's not going to get simple.
Right.
Yeah. Until the second coming, I guess. So anyway,
I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as far as the currency markets go, this is the end of the month, and we have some dollar, obviously some dollar selling going into month end, and whether the euro dollar can get above the 120 level is to be seen. But man, I'll tell you, we are getting close to what I would think is pretty key resistance here as we broke this. This is a nice little.
What a great feature to have that right on the website.
Yeah, and that
this chart. Nice? Yeah.
So I mean, we basically have. I meant to keep that in drawing mode, but that's all right. We broke out of this channel last week in the euro dollar, and we're closing in on the 120 level. It's a pretty big level of resistance right now, and You know, that I'm wondering, are we going to be able to break the 120 level going into the month end? If equity markets continue to stall here, that's going to be, you know, the question mark as far as the dollar goes, because the dollar is going to be the recipient of some risk off activity if we get it. But equities still continue to look strong. It's like the Teflon market still, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you were there. Anyway,
Yeah.
So what we'll do this morning is we're going to go through all the dollar pairs. And by the way, I was just having, you know, I was having a conversation with my neighbors. I have my neighbor across the street he's an ER doctor, and you know his wife's into trading cryptocurrencies. It always makes me skeptical when that happens. When you know you got random people that start just trading things. You know it's kind of like what are they Miss Watanabe who starts trading the yen. Remember that, Dale?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
the same situation happening with cryptos across the street. You know, I got the ER doctor's wife who's like, oh, I'm, you know, very bullish on cryptocurrencies, and I'm like, smack myself in the head here. And you know, it was interesting. I actually was watching this YouTube video regarding a drought, you know, like the water supply in Arizona, and the YouTuber was like, you know, and this is actually the day that Bitcoin hit the highs. Right here, I happened to be watching this YouTube video. I think it was like last Wednesday or Tuesday. And he's like, this is a great time to be in, you know, in cryptocurrencies. And as soon as this was like a live stream thing. And I mean, as soon as he said it, I would say within 4 hours, the crypto just completely reversed. Now, there's a reason why it did reverse because of some comments from Mnuchin. But I think if you guys do trade crypto, one thing I want to caution is as long as this uptrend line here is holding near the you know, let's just call it 16,500 level, as long as that continues to hold, that's good, you know. But if we make lower highs and then we breach that support, then you have to be very, very careful being long crypto, in my opinion. And you know, we've seen like a catch up of a lot of these altcoins. You know, whether you're talking about Ripple or Litecoin or Ethereum, they've all played a lot of catch up. But yeah, be careful with those specifically, especially if Bitcoin turns a little bit. So let's go through we're going to go through the currency market and actually put everything on the bias chart as we normally do. For those of you that are, you know, just tuning in for the first time, you know, maybe, you know, this week after watching the week ahead video or whatever the case may be, we go through all the majors, and then I'm going to pass it over to my colleagues so they can continue on analysis on other instruments and whatnot. But let's talk about the euro dollar. So the euro here, this is as you can see, we are approaching the highs, and I do think that there is risk as we approach these highs, because like I had mentioned, if equities start to pull back a little bit from these levels, which by the way, I still think the S&P looks bullish. We're still in a bull flag patterns or a pennant right now. So, and we'll get to the S&P here in a moment. So I think it's okay to continue to be a dollar bear, but you do have to watch it in case we get a lower high. So right now, as you can see, the trend highs in the euro dollar is going to be right here at 120.12. Now, the 161% extension of this last down move comes in at 120.30. So I think you have to write down those levels as far as resistance goes, you know, 120.10, 120.30. And we have to be bullish right now. While we're above this breakout point, and you know how frustrated I am from last week. I'm so frustrated from early last week when we got this move. Here, let me reset everything here.
And EG is looking pretty good. Supports that view, Blake.
Of the bullish view, yeah,
Yeah.
actually, euro pound, I think you have to let it break above 90 cents.
Okay.
And I can go over that here in a second. But
Okay, bro.
and
I'll
here's
be back in 5.
yeah, here I'm going to give you a real quick look at euro sterling,
Yeah.
and here's your channel.
Oh,
And so
okay.
you have to be a
Yeah.
little careful as we're below 90
Yeah.
cents, but we get about, or 90 pence, excuse me. But if we get
Yeah.
above that,
Yeah.
it's bullish. And it's above the 50% retracement as well. So
Right.
just yeah,
Thank
be a
you.
little careful there. Yep. Okay, so here's the euro resistance there, but as long as we're above this 119.20, we have to look at it as being bullish. And this kind of happened after the Thanksgiving holiday. So I haven't been with you guys the last couple of days. I know Steve and Stelios were with you guys and Dale on Friday, but that's bullish for now. And the cable, so we're above 133 now. There is the Brexit news is still the same old, and Amanda in the chat room's like, there's still a lot of differences, and they keep moving the goalposts as far as what the dead date is for Brexit, but they're still having negotiations and differences on fishing rights. And so as you can see, the cable, because people are getting a little frustrated that we haven't had this follow through to the upside yet, I think we're starting to stall. And so you got to be a little careful with the cable as we're below the 134 level. We are still trading below or above 133, but I want to be extra careful with the sterling. If we get below this 132, let's just call it 132.80, then you got to be a little careful there.
Blake, you wrote 190 for euro.
Oh,
119, right?
yes, that is correct. Thank you.
No worries.
I burnt a finger, and I'm peck typing again. It's like, man, I cannot stop destroying my hands. I'm not sure what's going on with me. Yeah, I grabbed a very hot bowl yesterday, and yeah, it's blistering just nicely on my fingers, which is great. Makes my typing that much more enjoyable. All right, resistance here, 134. Thank you, Stelios.
You're welcome.
Aussie dollar. So the Aussie, we finally broke above this the 73.40 level, and we're going to have to actually mark that as support. Resistance now is at 74 cents, and actually more importantly is going to be 74. The 74.15 or 74.20 or whatever it is, 74.15. I'm going to write both of those numbers down. The problem that the Aussie has right now is that China is really the China-Australia tension right now is pretty high, and I think they put some hold on really quick. I'll see if I can pull this up really quick. They put on some the 200% tax on Australian wines. I have to think that starts to weigh on the Aussie. Well, you can see the Aussies, somewhat underperforming as it is. And so that, I'm not sure if the Aussie is going to have the ability to break this 74.15 level without some help with the dollar across the board. So we're going to have to see the euro well above 120 and just kind of drag the Aussie higher if that's going to be the case. We have, copper looks bullish here, and the Aussie is just kind of languishing. I have to imagine it turns bullish above 74.15, and you have to realize that technically it's very bullish while we're really above the 70 cent level, just because that's a multi-year trend line that we're breaking out above. But man, I'm a little nervous that we're not making better gains here. All right, the Kiwi on the other hand still looks extremely bullish. We do have some like a wedge developing, but it's not stopping. And in order for the Kiwi to turn lower, we're going to have to get back below this trend line here, which comes in, let's say roughly, I'm going to look at this support here. Those lows held, and that's right at 70 cents. So while we're above 70 cents, there's no reason to be bearish. This is one of the only currency pairs that we've been, bullish going into this last week, and it still continues to outperform. We are struggling as we're up against this trend line resistance, which comes in at 70.50 right now. But that doesn't mean that you should be shorting it. Still looks bullish. The dollar Canadian. So we slumped through support, and as the dollar continues to stay weak, it's more of an eventuality that it was an eventuality that we would break through this 130 level. Okay. We obviously have to pay attention to the spike low at the 79 or 129 and a quarter. But the reason why this blue line is here, you have to go all the way back to January of 2020, and you can see the lows that came in basically where we're at. This is like the low of the year. Let's see, maybe if we get a 52-week low here. Well, 79.28, or I'm sorry, 129. I keep saying 79, 129.28. The low today is 129.48. So, I mean, and that low is right here, but you can see the previous low was right at these levels. So again, we have to be a little careful while we're down here, but while we're below 130, we have to stay bearish now. But you can see why we're stalling at these support levels, but it is bearish at the moment. Okay, the dollar MEX. Now, the dollar Mexican peso has held the 1995 level support, and I'm very surprised it has. I'm very much surprised that we have not broken down. Now, the thing is if the dollar MEX gets back above, well, it would be right here, above 2040, let's say roughly 2045, it's going to start to squeeze. So I'm going to keep it on, since it's not breaking lower, I'm going to keep it on range. But yeah, this is a pretty important resistance in my opinion, because if we start breaking through that, it will squeeze. Okay. Dollar Swiss. So the Swissy, we held the 78% retracement. You guys know that we've been writing down this trend line resistance. It's a descending trend line, so that resistance gets lower and lower every day, probably by about 10 pips. But right now we're going to mark up this as being horizontal for now, and that comes in at 91.40. So the 78% retracement held. And so I'm going to write down today's low, which is basically 90.20 as support. All right. US dollar, Norwegian krona. Now this is interesting. You guys know that we had this bearish wedge. Once we broke through here, this 896, okay, bearish breakdown, looking for a move back towards the 896 level for a short. We might actually get it this time around. Now, reason why I say that is you notice how we made a new trend low. Relative strength did not make a new low. So that means that we could squeeze back to this 895, 896 level and then reverse. So I'm going to write that down as resistance because I think it's possible that we can get back up there. So 895 or 896. It's bearish. You see, this is 161% extension of this last move. That's why we're being supported here. But I will write down today's lows basically at 878. All right. Dollar index. Okay, so the dollar index, let's go take a look long term. Okay, if you look at the lows from 2018 to the highs of, post pandemic highs, the spike high, we're at the 78% retracement, or very close to, which comes in at 91, basically 91.40. So even though we're breaking to new trend lows below the 92 or 91.80 level, we have to realize that there's a lot of support down here. 161% extension of this last move higher also comes in right around the same area. So 91, basically 91.40 is key support.
It's also diverging, Blake. Pretty
Yes.
glaring on the daily.
Thank you, Dale. And it is. You're great point. We're making new lows in price. Relative strength is very divergent, as Dale pointed out. So that's something else that we do have to pay attention to. And if we get back above 90, well, my opinion is if we get back above 92, then it'll start squeezing. So 91.80 is resistance, and then 92 is going to be key. But we are bearish while we're below, let's just say 92. We have to be bearish. I just don't know if it's going to stick. Dollar yen. So here's the dollar yen. And as I have mentioned to you guys on many occasions, I'm really not too sure how to trade the dollar yen right now. I just don't. And I have a hard time understanding what's moving the dollar yen at the moment from a correlation standpoint, or even, it's not even following the same moves or anything that the dollar is. Well, it's not following yields. It's not following precious metals. It's not following the rest of the dollar pairs. So it makes it really difficult on, how I should be approaching, or how we should be approaching the dollar yen. So for right now, and as you guys, most of you know, I've been kind of leaving it alone. Today's low seems to be like triangle support, and that's going to be coming in at 103.80. I'm going to keep us in range. Resistance is going to be back here at 104.75. And as you guys know, I'm just kind of leaving it alone. I'm not even dealing with the yen pairs currently. All right, let's talk about gold and the S&P. So gold, we have hit the 161% extension. We're below the 200-day moving average. We found support at the 161% extension at the end of last week. And if you saw the analysis from Friday, we expected a bounce there, which we got. But now we just hit a new low and hit the 50% retracement, longer term 50% retracement. Whether or not we hold this, and personally, I don't think we do. But this is one of those things that we have to pay attention to, especially as currency traders, that if gold breaks down, the dollar might actually start to firm up, and that, when with the euro so close to 120 and the Aussie really struggling at 74 cents, I mean, there's a risk that if gold, continues to pull back, that eventually it's going to, the dollar is going to take notice of that and really start to squeeze higher. So I'm going to say, while we're below the 200-day moving average, we have to be bearish. Well, actually, you guys know that while we're below this 1830 previous support was 1838, 38% retracement right here. While we're below that, we're bearish, but definitely while we're below the 200-day moving average. So that resistance comes back at 1800. We are on support right now because this is the 50% retracement. So, you know, I'm going to write down 1760 basically. But below that, I mean, it opens the door to the 618, which comes in at 1688. I don't think we're going there today, but we should write it down. Okay. And the S&P. So as I mentioned to you guys a moment ago, we do have a bullish pennant. It actually plays out to 4,000. God, I hope we make it there. I really do. I hope we make it there like today. It'd be so nice if we could just spike higher and, you know, cruise. You know, what is that? From here, we cruise like 10% higher today, just intraday, just squeeze and then reverse. That'd be great. It ain't gonna happen, I don't think. But that's a bullish pennant. All right. Right now, we have this like little channel which is holding. So that means resistance right now is 3660. Support is 3600. And we're bullish while we're above that, while we're above this pennant resistance, you know, so while we're above here, which is basically, you know, 3580, we have to stay bullish. So your bias chart is finished. I'm going to let Stelios take a picture of that because, you know, we add this to the Forex Analytics platform now, just so you guys have these support and resistance levels in front of you all the time. And I wanted to also mention, and by the way, the bias chart is right here, so you know where it's at.
Refresh and you'll see it.
Oh. There it is. Look
Am
at
I
that.
quick or am I quick?
You are fast. That's what she said. I'm just kidding. Woo. All right. Good morning, Stelios. And I'm assuming Steve's here because he was probably laughing with his mute button on.
I am here.
Anyway, good morning, guys. How are you?
Very well. Thank
Good,
you.
mate.
All good.
Steve, you sound so unexcited right now. Oh man. So okay. So where are we at in the markets here? I mean, once again, we're faced with the dollar continues to weaken, but now the euro's back at the 120 level. We all believe, and I think that the narrative is the dollar is going to break lower. And in 2021, every bank, every major bank on the street or elsewhere around the world basically forecast dollar weakness into 2021. So if everybody is assuming that the dollar is going to weaken, should we be betting against the dollar and looking for the euro to trade to 125 here in the near term? Or do you think that it's going to be a little bit of a pullback from these levels? What do you guys think?
I personally tend not to focus mostly on what others think. Yes, it is scary. There is no question about it. It is scary when you know, the whole market views things one way because you know that, you know, you might be near some kind of a turn, although turns, you know, frequently are just temporary. But you know very well, Blake, that my thesis hasn't fundamentally changed. I think the market is just catching up on what was more than obvious to us for many months, that there is only one direction the dollar can eventually move, and that is lower. Now, does that mean that the dollar is going to be moving lower, you know, without any respite without any rebound on the way. No, absolutely not. I mean, there will obviously be rebound. There will obviously be cases in which the market is getting short, and they have to be punished for doing so.
Could we
and-
be near that stage now, Steve?
Yeah, and we might be getting closer to that stage because the market is getting overly complacent about dangers ahead, and getting overly complacent obviously means going a lot risk on, exacerbates dollar selling. So at some point we're going to see, in my opinion, a sharp move lower, which most likely is going to be short-lived. During that time, we should have a squeeze higher in the dollar, and the market getting rid of all the weak dollar hands.
Yeah.
But as with any trend, I think as long as you exercise proper risk reward, looking for counter trend moves, is not the way to profitability.
Yeah.
So, my general opinion hasn't changed.
Got it. Well, I'm gonna say that I think that the dollar does look weak, and I do think that the dollar should be, it should be sold on any rally. So, I'm hoping that we still get, a move maybe around, year end, beginning of the year. I'm hoping that the dollar pulls back, or let's say the euro pulls back towards 118, maybe 117 again. Gives us another opportunity. I have to say, technically, we're above a multi-year trend line, and because we're above that multi-year trend line, the dollar should continue to stay weak as a result. But I guess we got to look to buy dips now. So, well, Steve, Stelios, I'm going to pass it over to you guys, and Dale, obviously. I want to say, if you guys want to be involved with Forex Analytics, make sure you try us out. But if you really want to try to get Forex Analytics for free, go to the Forex Analytics sponsored page. You can open a Pepperstone account. You got to click this link here to do so. And if you open a live account and you do some trades, you can get up to 4 months free of Forex Analytics. And if if you live in the US or Canada, make sure you just try us out for $1. It's $1 for 10 days, and you can get you can come in the chat room with us and be where myself, Amanda, Polly, and the rest of the team are at all day long. So guys and gals, I'm going to pass it over to you, or guys and gals, Steve and Stelios. And,
I'm
Dale.
the guy. I'm the guy.
The
Let's make it
guys.
clear.
Okay, yeah.
And, I'm going to pass
For
over
today,
to
I'm
you.
going to have to be the gal. What can I say?
Yeah, I can't wait till you throw on a wig and show us what that's going to look like. All right, guys. Have a
Blake.
great one. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm going to pass it over to my colleagues. See you guys.
Thank you, Blake.
Bye-bye, mate.
Bye.
That's funny. So you guys are speaking about the dollar. I agree. My bias for the dollar in Forex Analytics for DXY has been bearish for a while now. I think it was like 99 when I switched to bearish, and I still think it's going lower. Fundamentally, the US, in terms of monetary policy, deficits and all that, it's looking pretty bleak. You're going to tell me which country doesn't. I think they all do. But I think fundamentally, the dollar has a little bit lower to go. But having said that, whenever you see everybody talking about the same thing, the same direction, this used to be the case when I was a market maker and I was trading futures in decent size. My favorite broker was one who would tell me all the time, "Oh my God, people are really one-sided. They're moaning every time the futures tick higher." So I would just say, "Okay, let's buy everything then." So whenever whenever I see everybody being the same way, I always want to have the opposite bias. So I think there is going to be a leg higher for the dollar. How much higher? When is it going to be? I don't know. Obviously, I don't know. I'm not a magician, but I think the DXY can very easily get above 95, 96. And I know it does sound a little bit crazy saying it now, but we've seen how quickly and how brutally it can move. And I think it will have another go.
Yeah.
Anyway, just my opinion.
And the more the market becomes one-sided, the faster and the bigger the squeeze can be.
Always.
But I do think that whenever that squeeze comes, which, eventually it's going to come, but of course it might come from, quite lower levels. I
have
think
to
it's going
sell
to be a
into it.
nice. It's going to be a nice selling opportunity. There is no question
Absolutely.
about it. Which is the exact opposite of what we think about precious metals, right?
Yep.
The lower they decide to go, the better the buying opportunity. I mean, here is gold. I'm still, watching this channel, 1750, 1755, and then channel trend line support currently passing roughly from 1720. Nice areas to buy if we see, a proper reaction from there. And here is silver. I mean, potentially can, even move all the way back down to 19. I doubt it's going to be so kind with us to give us the ability to
Yep.
buy at 19, but
I
who knows?
wrote this in the
To
chat
Santa.
room. This
You wrote it to Santa
yeah.
in your letter to Santa.
I wrote this in the chat room and I tweeted as well. The time has come. I got my first third position. I'm doing it in thirds to get long. First third done in basically high 21s.
Yeah,
So
Stelio, I think I'm gonna start following you. I think I'm gonna start buying here a little bit,
and I have
like a
two more.
quarter.
I have two more levels for my other thirds. So I put at the moment 2070 and 1910. I might adjust those prices, but that's where I'm doing second, third, and third, and that's what I'm looking at. So I've been
Yeah.
very patient. I've been waiting. Remember, we hit like 30. What was at the peak? And
Yes.
I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. And I think now is the time to start scaling in. It might go quite a bit lower. It might go 10% lower from here. I'm
okay. I'm okay. I'm not going to ask
Exactly.
you. I'm not going to be buying to make
Yeah.
necessarily profit in a week or 2 weeks or
Yeah.
or a month. I'm absolutely fine.
Yeah, exactly. We trade the same way, and I'm unleveraged, and I don't mind. Just like in March, when my longs were down like 15% or something like that, I just rode them, and
And you
saw
made
what happened.
50.
Yeah, exactly. You saw what happened then. So with these things, you have to be careful. It's not for everybody. A lot of people don't like this kind of trading. This is the way I do it, and this is one of the trades I really believe in. So
Jack
True.
Schwager says, find us a trading style that fits your personality.
Very
exactly.
true.
Exactly.
And definitely for Stelios and I, it's not waking up in the middle of the night looking if your instrument you're trading on has moved 20 pips.
Exactly.
That's for 20-year-olds. Well, let's see. I did that until my 50s.
Yes, because mentally you were 20 at your 50s.
Yeah, and now I'm mentally I'm 85 from doing that. What's your name? Where am I?
Who am I? Yeah, exactly. Anyway, let's see
Yeah.
how it goes. But at the moment, metals have been very weak, day after day after day, and it takes. I'm not saying I'm timing the low today, but I'm slowly starting. So otherwise, equities just keep going. I was reading about Tesla, which is up 600% this year apparently, and
Why wouldn't it, Celia?
PE is almost at 1,000. So you tell me what that's pricing in terms of earnings.
I think it's a very good level to buy at.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm not touching it, but it's
Speaking of which,
ridiculous.
Stelio, at the pre-market high, almost fulfilled the triangle's target, as you see.
Oh, really?
Almost. I mean, we were shy, $16 shy, but $16 shy for Tesla, it's like, what is it, a 5-minute move? It's okay.
It's a 1-minute move. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a one rumor move.
There can't be any shorts left here.
I doubt it. I mean, I don't know.
That's why,
I mean,
Steve, I want you to short it between today.
Outside people that are shorting it now, I don't think there is anybody that was shorting
Yeah.
it even a month ago that's still
Yeah.
out there and breathing or whatever. I think this can kill you way faster than COVID can.
They're actually laying down in front of cars on the streets now.
Yeah, something like that. In front of Teslas.
Yes.
So in other news, very briefly, we had some economic data out. Japanese retail sales a lot better than expected. Chinese manufacturing PMI quite a bit better than expected. So continuing the general trend of better than expected readings. Again, we're nowhere near pre-COVID times, but looks like the recovery is here. Question is, where do we go from now? The only negative print was German inflation. German CPI came in worse than expected.
You mean another positive print?
Yeah. So that's
Poor
it.
Germans, they'll have to pay less.
They'll have to pay 0.3% less. It's a
Yes.
disaster. Yeah. Okay, that's it from me, my friends.
Thanks, Stel.
Thank you, guys.
Anything else, Telio?
Not really. Nothing,
What do we have waiting for today? We have Chicago PMI. PMIs. What else do we have?
pending home sales, Chicago PMI? That's really it. So I don't think it's going to move the market either way.
I have a
We have
human cut.
Payrolls on Friday.
Yeah. Payrolls. Let's see. And the expectations are for an improvement, if I remember, something like 530, 550,000 is the expectation for this week, something like that. So it's,
I think so. Let me check.
yeah. So for an improvement, of course, still the number is like, even if we assume that that's going to be the number, it's still like 2.5 times over what is considered to be normal. So
yes, 600 is the expectation. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now what are we going to have a look at? First of all, we already talked about gold and silver. Needless to say, in the case of silver, next downside target, the spike low at 21.64. Below that, we have 21. Below that, we have 20.50. Why 20.50? The 200 daily moving average passes from there as we speak. And then it's like 19, which is like a major confluence of support. So, nothing else to say there. Clearly from this point on, $23 is resistance. So, any rebound to 23, if you really believe there is more downside, you can short it if that's what you're looking to do. I'm obviously not looking to short any of the metals. I let other people make money on the short side. I'd rather make money on the long side because I think there is a lot more money to be made there. And now having to do with gold, following the equivalent channel here, next downside area of support, as I said, 1750 roughly. There is a zone around it. And below that, 1715, 1720, we have this channel passing from, that's what I'm looking at. Now, having to do with crude oil. Crude oil has spent the last 3 days, in my opinion, crafting another, let's have a look at it on the 4-hour chart, another continuation formation. In this case, you can clearly see that it's a pennant. And as we speak, we're testing the pennant's trend line resistance. Needless to say, I think that the chances that this, is some type of a reversal formation are low. So I'm looking for a continuation higher. As I've been saying for quite some time, I see no reason why you would want to fade crude oil, even if you want to completely ignore the fundamentals and let's say there is some disagreement, technically speaking, there is absolutely no signal that you should be doing so. So do that at your own peril. Natural gas has broken above this channel, seems to be working on some type of a flag, pennant, whatever it is here. I'm assuming the next move after this short-term consolidation is also going to be to the upside. USD is related to USD. This pair gives a ruling on USD. Yes, it has some importance. There's no question about it since you mentioned it. Although I should have gone chronologically, just my eye fell on that question that came in just now. And since we do pay attention to the USD Chinese yuan, let's pull it up. Here it is. So, nothing has really changed here, meaning we are clearly in a downtrend. You can see it here, right? We have held once again this descending channel trend line support, which proves once again its significance. But clearly, we remain in a downtrend, right? Even the reaction from there so far seems 100% corrective. So I have no reason to believe that we have found a low. I think we're just temporarily stalling for the time being. Speaking of which, you can clearly see that we're trading at levels we haven't traded since the summer of 2018. And that is significant. And more or less the same applies to the DXY. The DXY closed last week at levels we hadn't seen, if I remember right, since April of 2018. So, it's more than clear that the trend is lower in both cases, right? So keep that in mind.
So you have a new correlation for the dollar now. I mean, we didn't used to do this. So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, for the time being, that seems to be the case. Yes,
Yeah.
that is true.
Nice find.
Let's finish up with metals because somebody's asking for platinum and palladium. So yeah, since we were on the metals, we might as well stick with them and have a look at them. Just look at platinum. Despite gold and silver still correcting lower, platinum is holding up quite nicely. Has broken, retested, and continuing higher from this channel. So I've told you my opinion before. I think that platinum has been extremely weak for a period of years, right? You can say it there. And I think that once, with the dynamic I see here, once precious metals go on the bid once again, platinum has a very good chance of actually exploding higher. So, in my opinion, you don't want to try to fade this. Now, having to do with palladium, you can see here that technically speaking, things are not so clean. So I wouldn't be trading it as we speak. Trading within this ascending channel. I don't really know what kind of formation we're building here because we might still be in a longer term type of formation, something like this. Listen, it's clear that one way or another we're consolidating, and it might take a long more time. This incredible move higher, right? You can see it. I mean, from 2016, that palladium was trading at actually below 500. We exploded to almost 3,000, right? And a move like that might need a lot of time to correct. So, we might still be doing that. So to be frank with you, I wouldn't be trading it as we speak. What is worth noting, though, is that copper has actually exploded higher after breaking that. Yeah. And it was more than obvious that, if it didn't reverse lower for a correction, it would just explode higher because this market was so well bid that if the bears didn't manage to defend that last level, they would have to succumb to the pressure and just, break higher. And I do think this is a major breakout in copper. So I think, wherever we go, who knows? At some point we're going to move back and probably retest this area as support this time, and probably it's going to hold. So what used to be strong resistance, I think it's going to be strong support from this point on, because this market is just refusing to turn lower. I mean, daily RSI has now surpassed 80. And keep in mind that copper was under pressure for years and years and years. As I've told you before, this doesn't surprise me. I think anything that has intrinsic value is going to explode higher. Because
people are going to start hoarding their pennies again.
yeah.
I've seen this a few times, but I think these are record prices for copper. I don't think they've ever been here. I'm not sure. But people do, though. They'll hoard their pennies and turn them in for copper value. I don't think they put a lot of copper in pennies anymore.
No, they used to, but they don't anymore. I mean, they used to even put silver in other coins, etc. They've stopped doing that, obviously, because the debasement of the currencies. Don't forget that official data, not taking into account real inflation, which we can have a lot of discussions about, how government measures it. Official data, US dollar has lost 98% of its purchasing power during the past 100 years.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's official data.
Dr. Copper's taking his own meds.
Yes, exactly.
He's got a PhD in economics.
Yes, and on occasion it proves to be the case.
See, we have such an intelligent audience. Mark Harvey says penny is 97.5 zinc.
Yes, of course, because zinc is much cheaper. And at some point, I bet you if they continue like that, it won't even be worth making coins in zinc, because that's what happens.
Right.
We keep debasing fiat currencies, and anything that is actually tangible at some point is going to be worth a lot more than what pennies and other small denominations are. So, at some point they will just cancel coins or whatever.
So people
I
are
don't know what they're gonna
swallowing pennies now because it gives you a little immunity to colds,
do.
and it's good for your prostate.
Okay, I'm not
Huh?
at that stage. I'm not at that stage yet. The prostate.
Well, you have so much to look forward to.
I
That's all
can tell you
say.
that my 40s, I can clearly see.
Yeah, what's your PSA?
No, it's perfect, but I can clearly
Oh,
see
yeah,
a
okay.
difference, between being a teenager, that we could be like
yeah.
2 trees away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. All right. So anyway, I have a guest here now, who actually, really, he's a knight. Okay. And you remember the Knights of the Round Table for King Arthur legend?
Absolutely.
We have Crypto Knight 60. And I'm going to ask him if all the crypto knights sit around a round table, because Bitcoin is, kind of round. So let's see what he has to say. I'm looking forward to meeting
Okay,
him.
perfect. And it's actually a good
And I'll
occasion.
tell you right up front, he doesn't. This is his name. Okay, I don't have a first name. I don't have a last name. I know you don't like anonymous people, but this is it. Crypto Knight 60. I'm going to get you set up now, you anonymous guy, and you can find him. He has a website, but he uses this name on his website. So I'm going to promote you to
Okay, it's a good occasion to have somebody talk about, that
crypto.
that
Sure.
specialize, in cryptos. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
So more tomorrow. Okay. Enjoy the
Okay.
interview, Dale.
Thank you, Steve. All right, Crypto Knight 60. I don't know if you've used Zoom before, but I'm asking you to unmute. Welcome to Face.
Thank you so much,
You're-
Dale. It's a pleasure to be here back again.
Oh, God, what a so we've done this before. What a memory. Okay, that I don't have. So welcome back to Face.
Exactly. Thank you so much. The last time
uh,
I came here, Bitcoin was at 10,300, and I was, you were asking what do you think, and I was like, okay, it could go down till 10,100, but it's gonna, trap the market. I mean, the retailers. And
Are you going to share your screen, by the way?
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
it's a green box.
Yeah. Okay. Let me know if you can,
Got
see
it.
my screen.
Got it. Okay.
All right. Yeah,
So
Dale, good to have. I'm
Good.
happy and glad to be here back. So, like I said, the last time I was here back on September 4th, somewhere around first week of September.
Last year.
Yeah, this year. So, yeah, Bitcoin is like about $9,000, higher, almost doing like a 90% move, while
Yeah.
the other market is tanking. So that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I was very impressed with when we were in a risk off move that, it was steady as a rock. And, that was with, stocks selling off, everything selling off. I think it was in September, and crypto was holding well. So not that far away. What did we do? Just missed new all-time highs last week on we didn't trade. Did we trade above the old high, make new all-time highs? Or
It
we
just
are
missed by
short
like
of it?
$100 or so.
Yeah.
But that was like a pure technical point where it had to retrace and trap the existing market, looking for an all-time high. It's kind of like a fourth wave, and
Okay.
it was, I mean, it was more of, let's say, let me show you. So yeah,
What was that 2-day reaction? Because some type of a regulatory thing on an exchange? What drove it? That little pullback.
See, all these news, they just follow the TA.
Yeah.
They're always there. Yeah, Mnuchin coming in, talking about regulations and their own digital currency and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's all expected. I mean, I really don't look at the news because it's all priced in. So basically, I could, show you something like this, use like a simple fib extension.
Yeah.
So this, or probably, yeah, this. So if I just remove this, so surprise, I mean, hitting the golden zone, or let's say 1.618 to the exact, and then
Okay.
coming down, and now trying again, making a higher low. So it's, I mean, now probably is the time when people would be coming in crypto, and that's now it's a time I get out, coming week or next week. So yeah, something of this sort. I believe it will probably go ahead and hit 23, 25. We'll see. Something of this sort is in play. This is like, first, second, third, and the fourth, and this is the fifth wave, and, we're going to Elliott waves, or in fact, the subwave as well. It's something of this sort that's playing out.
So say, for example, I'm seeing you today and I go to the Burb Nest, which is where you do your thing every day, and your team members. And I ask you, Crypto Knight, should I get long Bitcoin here, or would I be better off buying maybe one of the other majors like Litecoin or Ethereum that didn't get as pumped? What would you be advising to fresh money right now? Sit on their hands?
Yeah, I would, advising the new money that just wait for a few days, because it might rally. I mean, yeah, crypto is quite volatile, so you could get in once this median line, let's say 19.7 to 19.9 is kind of, broken. It will then, head towards for another like 20 odd percent quick move. This might happen in few days, just could, pump up today, tomorrow on, and then on the second it retraces, and on third, fourth, fifth is the last leg up, and that is it for Bitcoin for some time. And then the thing is, it will kind of move down. So if there is new money, I mean, it would not be, wise to get into any of the cryptos for like a midterm trade. It's going to be like intraday trades, like
Okay.
scalps, or intraday trades, because there's going to be too much money coming in. And yeah, so what in my opinion will happen is, so if this plays out,
Okay.
I shared this for a while now. So if this plays out, so what happens is, then we'll probably have the correction coming in. So this, the A wave probably will uh, happen till the end of this month, or next month, December.
Hmm.
So when the B wave starts, this is where, BTC gets volatile again. But more importantly, the altcoins get the real love. So they
I
kind of
see.
skyrocket during the B wave. And that's going to be in January, could be in February as well, depending when this A wave finishes.
Okay,
But
so the
this
next
is,
wave, is say we get from A to B, is when people move into the more speculative altcoin area that outperforms Bitcoin, and Bitcoin doesn't make a new high, but the outperformance comes from. Can you give us a few examples of altcoins that you might be considering after we get, well, first we need to get the high and then an A pullback? What should we have on our shopping list after
so
A?
yeah. Great. Yeah, yeah. I totally get your point. So what the, the retailers or your spectators would be looking
A
at.
lot of people, in fact, I'm getting a question. We may as well go there, and I've seen a lot of tweets on XRP.
XRP.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's the name of that again? Ripple?
yeah. It's Ripple Network. I mean, Ripple is the
The
company.
only Ripple I knew from my younger days was a wine that the
Right.
bums on Skid Row drink. Okay, it was,
Exactly.
I think,
Exactly.
20% alcohol. But I'll admit I imbibed. So what do you think of Ripple here, buddy? Will it
Yeah. The
ripple
one I can.
or will it ripple or will it rip your account?
Okay, so what happens is during the fifth last move wave up,
Yeah.
it's a kind of a drag rather than the impulsive move up. It's more of a drag that's left, you know. So this is 2, this is 3. It's going to be a little bit of a drag. So what
That's a
happens?
pretty big 5 compared to the 1, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, because
Uh,
it's kind of extended. It's kind
Okay.
of extended, so that is why it is like that.
Yeah.
There were reasons in the market for this as well. We'll probably cover that later. So, but what happens is during this fifth wave, all coins also get the love
All right.
because money is going to, the profits are going to be taken. So either they get into dollar or they move into some alternate coins. So that is where it happens. They will get the love. So that is why the alts will run. Ethereum is one of the, or let's say the top coin after Bitcoin, and
Okay.
it's moved. I shared Ethereum to hit like 700 or even 920 back in July. I was like, okay, before 2020 December 17th, it should hit 700 or 920. It was at, I don't know, 310, $320 at that point. It's currently right now at 602. So we're not that far off. But the coins that will get more attention moving forward, along with Ethereum, are going to be something like YFI. So let me show you. So if this is the coin, so this is YFI. Let me get rid of some indicators or. So this coin actually this year itself, it started from somewhere around $35 or so. Okay, and it went as high as 43,766. So
From
less than 100.
$35 to 43,000.
Yeah, so you could say less than $100 to 43K. Okay. So that is the kind of this is one of the best coins for this year, and it's still not done. I believe it's already on the move right now. So if you see, I had the chart earlier.
What's the fundamental story behind it that got it to go up, thousands of percent?
The circulating supply is pretty less. It's the max supply is somewhere around 30K, if I'm not wrong. So it's like 30,000 coins in existence. It's a DeFi coin. If you are aware, like it's decentralized finance. That's the latest thing in crypto this summer. Okay, it started in summer. Then it had like a pretty good season till August, September, and then they kind of tanked a lot. It's decentralized finance, so you kind of wrap your head to get a bunch of other coins, and it's farming. It has different stuff, but it's like decentralized finance, and this is one of the not the first ones, but it is one of the most talked about, and it had like a good dev and stuff like that. So yeah, it got listed on decent exchanges when it was at 2K, 3K. Okay, that's when it got listed, and then after that it went from 2K till 43K. So at one point, people were like, okay, when will this one Wi-Fi would be equivalent to one Bitcoin? And it ended up to be more than Bitcoin, because in terms of price, and that's what I'm saying, just this price. So it went for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, or something like 1, 2, 3, 4, and fifth wave, and then it corrected. It's still in correction, but something like this. But right,
and what's the name of that again?
YFI, it's Yearn Finance.
Your own finance?
Yearn Finance, YEARN, Earn Finance .finance.
Yearn Finance. Okay.
Yeah, something that goes
I yearn to have known about this a long time ago.
we lost touch there, since it's the last time we actually spoke. So
Yeah, well, all you have to do, buddy, is ping me and you have something going on you want to talk about, and I'll get you on. How's that?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I'll probably do that. So probably next month, it's going to be altcoin season. So similarly, other DeFi coins are, are there as well. So currently, like in, there's another coin that's Lend. It goes by the name of, Aave. So it's a clear point. It's a clear thing. So I mean, if I just simply put in fibs from here till here, local bottom to local top, it's
Yeah.
it's already making a double top kind of a thing. But we know it's going to go pretty high, probably 120, 140 again. I just put my pitchforks. It's kind of about to flip this median line. So when this happens, the probability of this reaching this pink line is decent. So it's like 60%. 100% trade is on the cards, and this might happen soon. So Ripple, yes, Ripple.
What's the
I
universe? What kind of universe is there in crypto? Are there thousands of them?
no,
Like a
it
bulletin
is
board or
no. It's with
hundreds,
no, there would be multi thousands.
multi-thousands?
Yeah, exactly. Could be somewhere around 5K,
So
6K. I don't know.
how do how do you screen what to pay attention to? Just from the news flow or?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you need to have good network in the market.
Yeah.
You need to follow the right people, need to discuss
Right.
stuff. So this Wi-Fi coin, like this Wi-Fi coin, when it actually did this bonkers move,
Yeah.
there were like about 15 or 20 clones that were created of this coin, and
Wow.
about
And
99
they were
percent of
garbage?
yeah, of course they were garbage. I mean, they're all garbage.
Yeah.
So, only one or two were actually, kind of supporting this coin, so
Yeah.
the,
It's
the
like a
rest
bulletin board stock or a pink sheet or
exactly. That's how
so
it.
do they actually come in these when they have offerings and after the offering goes public where
Yeah, I mean, this time they are not like offerings. It's more of there's this decentralized exchanges that are being built. They're not centralized. One of them is known as, like, let's say, Uniswap. It's
mhm,
Uniswap. So what happens is the devs list their coin over there. It's on Ethereum chain mostly. So what happens is you need to swap your Ethereum for that coin, and then it takes off. So it's like an open market kind of a thing,
mhm,
instead of kind IPOs or ICOs or offerings. But
right.
there have been offerings as well. It's not like
Uh-huh.
there have been no offerings. There have been offerings as well, for sure. But this has been a little changed, because last time the ICO mania was there back in 2017. Every other coin
Yeah.
used to take just money and run away, or just pump like crazy. This
Yeah.
time it's a little different, but of course,
Okay.
when you have so much of volatility, so much of money that's been made, you'll obviously attract a lot of garbage elements. So
Okay.
they will always be there.
All
It's
right.
just
Well,
that.
I have a
Mhm.
question from one
Sure.
of our attendees for you.
Yeah.
It is, tell us what's the next YFI.
Of course, if
It's
I
like
would.
a lottery ticket for people, what would, and there's no guarantee. It's a long shot. Everyone knows it. You have any long shots in your portfolio? Or you don't
Cur-
even want to, you don't even
Currently,
trade them till there's a lot of volume.
no. I get them. I get in early. I'm one of those guys who would go shopping on a Bangkok street, some streets in the Bangkok, and probably sell them somewhere in Beverly Hills.
Wow.
So yeah, I like to get in early. I like to check coins pretty early. So if I can find one out of 20, 25, two out of 50 coins, I go in. But recently, I haven't seen too many that, because see, what happened was this DeFi mania back in August, September, August, or probably even July, there were many coins that did 20x, 30x. I got like
Yeah.
few coins that did 30x myself.
Yeah.
And 5x and all was like literally easy money. But of course, when you have that kind of mania in the market, it's not going to last long. So it kind of fell on its face in September when BTC started taking the move up from 10K all the way up. Money moved to BTC and Ethereum. So since then it's been on a low. But once this BTC's move is done, then you will again hear coins doing such kind of a move. So yeah, I mean, I have few, but I don't want to wreck your people.
Okay,
Right now.
so
You could follow me on Twitter.
yeah.
I keep on sharing stuff on Twitter. So
Okay.
what I get into.
Okay, so you could follow Crypto Knight at Crypto Knight 60. Do you want to show your website where you work with people and talk about these things all day long, you and your team? And why is it the burb nest instead of the bird nest? What is a burb? BIRB.
Yeah, so this is my friend, or let's say the CEO of the company, CryptoBurb, who started this community.
Yeah.
You know, back in 2017.
Yeah.
So I started. He called me. He's like, okay, do you want to be part of this company that I'm making? So I was like, okay, cool. So we started off. So he is known by CryptoBurb. So he
Okay.
has about 110,000 plus followers. So that is why it's CryptoBurb. And this is my profile. So
Okay.
Kryptonite 60. So
Okay.
I've not been very active, in on Twitter.
Okay, so then your Twitter is the best place
Yeah.
to get a hold of you. So then why don't I wrap it with this question? It's from Jane. Do you think Bitcoin dominance will get rid of the shit coins?
Bitcoin dominance has already made like a kind of a
A
lower
graveyard?
high. It made like a lower high already.
Yeah.
So these were. Let me just clear it up a little bit so it makes
Oh,
more
that's a
sense.
name of a coin.
No, it's okay. So Bitcoin dominance is the
Oh,
the
percentage of market cap traded or something.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right.
Exactly. So
Okay.
I've been tracking this for a while, and if you see, I had levels marked earlier. So if you see, it kind of topped out at 67.59 for now.
Yeah.
Now it's clearly making a bullish pattern. It's just clearly making kind of it's about to move up. But we will see if now, let's say, what time frame are we looking at? I mean, in December. So 3rd December, if it rips up, in
Yeah.
for the next few days, we could see alts getting smashed and BTC getting high. But the only thing that needs to be seen is that if it can kind of break, a simple, if I do like a local high or local low kind of a retracement, if it can move above 66.7 or 66.8. So if it can, or let's make it simple, previous, I have these levels already marked like 66.48. If it moves above this, I will not be interested in alts. I'll just wait and just have few alts, but I will trade them in Tether, that's the USD value, rather than the BTC pair. Because anyway, any coin divided by BTC is going to get wrecked, because if BTC starts moving up, it's already doing so. If it starts breaking this median line, the denominator X by Y, the Y is increasing. So it's normal, simple mathematics. So X by Y is going to go down. On the other hand, because this value goes up, the USD value of the other coins go up as well. So yeah, that's the
I have
thing.
someone else noticing, and I know I said I was going to wrap it up before, but Sansi is noticing that you use a 70.7 fib. How did you come up with that?
It's an so the thing is, in crypto, it's pretty simple that, golden zones work great. That is like 618 and 65.
Yeah.
707, what happens is in crypto, there is a lot of volatility. So there are a lot of wicks that come into picture.
Mhm.
You'll see many wicks on multiple time frames that happen. So what happens is, if it's not an algo, it's like a more of a retail stuff. So what happens is 707 is what, square root of zero point 0.5. So zero point 0.5, I believe 0.5 square root of that is 0.707. So it kind of caters that move. If you are unable to find the pivots, if you're unable to see which is your, let's just say, kind of one,
Right.
second, two, three, four, and or fifth. If you're unable to find what's your first, or the second, this gives a decent amount of information.
Interesting. You ever use it on any other traditional assets like S&Ps or gold or
It
anything
doesn't
else?
work on gold or silver. That's what I trade as well. It doesn't work much on gold or silver. It
Okay.
works decently, and in fact, I'll tell you what. Actually, people don't who don't use Elliott waves and just use ranges and normal price action with fibs. It works decently well. 0.707, because it's not the accurate way to use the fibs, in my opinion, but it works well because they are not using the pivots correctly. So if they're just using the low till the high, so if you have a range, then
Yeah.
probably what will happen is, if you have a range, so it is going to be 50% is this, halfway around. So if you have like a square root, I mean, it works if you are not that well versed with waves and stuff like that. So
Okay.
yeah, it's
Well,
good to
that's a
have.
nugget. Thank you for that nugget.
Sure, no problem.
I'm going to plug it in, see what happens. And I want to thank you and
You're
hope
welcome, Dave.
that you and your family remain safe, untouched from the invisible enemy, and
Yeah.
that you have a great wrap up for the rest of the year. And appreciate you being with us, Crypto Night.
Thank you so much, Dale, for inviting me again. So probably next time when we speak, we would be making decent money on alts at that time. Hope so. So thank you again. It was
All
my
right,
pleasure
appreciate
hanging out
it.
with you.
So obviously, everyone listening to this and and who watches this later, this is way above my pay grade. And if you have an interest in this arena, follow at Crypto Night 60 because he is up to his eyeballs in knowledge of this space. And do your due diligence and learn before you put money at risk. So thank you, brother.
Thank you again, Dale. Let's speak up, again, and Merry Christmas to your family. I mean,
Oh,
and
thank you.
your loved ones. And yeah, let's speak again next year.
All right, buddy. So my trading warrior brother, Crypto Night 60, and I'll see everyone tomorrow for Turnaround Tuesday. We'll be here. Our mission is to build up and edify traders every day. Hope we've done that in some way for you today. You're very welcome. Adios. See you, Sanse, Michael, Rose. Nice to meet you. Adios.